Hello and welcome. My name is Maria de Souza. I am a Feldenkrais and a yoga teacher. I focus my work on posture, not only because posture makes you look good and boosts your self-confidence, but also because good posture keeps pain away. Something that you might not realize is that most of the ailments and conditions that you see around that people suffer with are a result of misalignments that we all create in the body as we go about life. And once we start addressing those misalignments and imbalances in the body, then that's when you start seeing a shift in your health, mentally and physically. And this is what my work is all about, is to give you exercises that help you to reorganize your body, reorganize the skeleton, so that you can help your body to go back to its natural state. Today I'm bringing to you something which is a very good example of that. We're going to work in the ankles. The feet is very important. If the feet is not doing their job that they are designed for, then nothing above can be working properly. And the feet suffer a lot because they are squeezed inside socks and shoes and high heels, and a lot happens there. So today I'm bringing you an exercise that will help you to reorganize your feet, your ankles. But this is one of those exercises that will have a ripple effect across the body. So if you have issues going on in your knees or pelvis or back or neck, this will help you with those issues. Okay, so give it a go and see how it goes for you, and please do let me know below in the comments area what your experience was. So we're going to start standing. We're going to do what we call a somatic awareness or a somatic scan, which in other words just means feeling yourself as you stand. So bring your feet hip distance apart, more or less, wherever it is comfortable for you. No shoes. You never do this with shoes, and if you need to do this with socks, that's okay, but please have your dad's socks, large socks that allow your feet to spread and the toes to be free. Okay, so we don't want to be doing this with squeezed toes inside tight socks. Spread, allow your feet to be free. So come onto your feet standing, and if closing your eyes is okay for you, close your eyes and bring your attention to your feet. Notice where the weight of your body is on the feet. Is it more at the front of the feet or more at the back? What about the sides of your feet? Can you feel weight more on one side than the other? Just notice that. Also notice if the weight goes more onto one foot than the other. We all have these misalignments and imbalances in the body, so it's very likely, it's very common that you will feel that one foot feels different to the other and that the weight is not well distributed in your feet. So there's nothing for you to worry about or to try to fix now. Just see what's there for you so that you know what's going on. Okay, so take a moment to feel your weight, the weight of your body on your feet. Notice, can you also notice, can you feel the toes, your toes in contact with the floor? And if so, which toes do you feel? Are they all in contact with the floor, or some of the toes aren't? Just notice. And again, it might be different from one foot to the other. So After you've noticed that, just have a sense as well for your uprightness as you stand on your feet. Have a sense for your uprightness, your head sitting on top of your spine, the shoulders. How does it feel? Does it feel heavy or light? Just notice how does it feel for you to stand. Okay, so when you spend a moment there, just keep a few mental notes. Because at the very end, do come back to here, to standing, and see if things may have changed for you, or if things might feel different at the end of this exercise. Okay, and now we are going to lie on the back. So let's go and lie on your back. I have a blanket here because I want you to remind you to pay attention, to notice the position of your head. Okay, so if you look at me, my head is more or less aligned with my spine. The neck is more or less aligned with the spine. And my chin is parallel to the chest. Okay, but some people might have some imbalances in the spine, and they might be here like this, okay, with the chin away from the chest, and this is quite uncomfortable. So if this is your case, then you need to have something under your head to align to be comfortable, first of all, and to align the neck with the spine. Okay, so it's to you to judge the thickness of whatever you put under your head. Okay, so sense if it's comfortable and that the chin is more or less parallel to the floor. So if I use something under my head, my chin will come towards the chest, and that's not very comfortable. Okay, so in a way what I'm doing is something like this. So I don't want to be in that position. My neck will at some point start complaining. Okay, so you need to see for yourself where the right position for your head is to be comfortable. Okay, I suggest that you don't use a cushion because they are too soft, and then you might just be digging in the middle, and it might not give you the right support. So it's best to have a folded blanket that is not so soft and there is not much that collapse in the middle. Okay, I see people using books and yoga blocks. I don't like it. I think it's too hard. I don't think we need to make our life so difficult. So I think finding a middle is best. So cushion is too soft, and a book, it might be too hard. I find it too hard, so I don't do that. So I'd rather have a folded blanket. I do talk a lot. The reason why is that because I really want to make sure that you understand every single detail, because it's important to understand these little details, so that you are comfortable, and that also that while you do the exercises, your body is comfortable doing it. There you are. Anyway, you can skip if you don't want to hear me about saying all these things. Now, we're going to spend some time, just a minute or so, lying on the back, just for you to sense yourself. So you did that standing on your feet. Now let's do it lying on the back. And just as you arrive, again, there's nothing for you to correct or to worry about. Just sense yourself lying on your back. Notice how does it feel first of all. How does it feel for you to lie on your back today? Maybe it's comfortable, maybe it's not so comfortable. And if it's not so comfortable, just notice those parts of yourself that don't feel so comfortable today. Just connect to those parts, and those parts of yourself, love and attention, because that's what they need. That's what they are crying for. Okay, so. And then just notice how much of yourself is in contact to the floor. Start from the feet, the heels in contact. The heels are against the floor. I lie on the floor, so you'll feel the pressure against the floor in your heels. Just notice that, where that pressure in your heels is. See if you can sense that one foot is more turned out than the other, which means that the pressure on one heel is different to the other. Right? So notice those differences. And then notice your calves in contact with the floor, the back of the thighs. Notice if you feel a space behind your knees, a gap, or are the back of your knees in contact with the floor. Just sense that. And then sense your buttocks in contact with the floor, the right and the left. Is there a difference between the right and the left? It's very likely that there is a difference, because we all have misalignments and imbalances in the body. And it's very likely that one side of the body feels different to the other. Maybe feels longer or heavier or larger or whatever it feels, but it's very likely that it feels different. Just notice those differences. And then move to your back, the shoulder blades. Now, if being with long legs is too painful for you, too uncomfortable, please do bring your knees up, okay? Notice your shoulder blades, one and the other. Again, you might feel a difference there. Just notice that. Notice that gap in your lower back, if there is a gap. Is there a gap in your lower back, or is your lower back in contact with the floor? Just notice. And then notice the back of your head in contact with the floor. Where is it? Where is that pressure? Is more towards the crown, the neck, or the sides? In other words, do you feel that your head is more tilted one side than the other? And you may be thinking that, well, if we're going to work on the feet, how is that to do with the neck? Well, you'll be surprised how much the feet influences the neck. So just notice how your head lies on the floor, and also just turn your head a couple of times, just an inch or so. It's not about going as far as you can go, but just sense the quality of that movement in your neck. Turn just an inch or so a couple of times to the right, very slowly. The slower you go, the more you can sense. Couple of times to the right, and notice the quality of that movement in your neck. How does it feel in your neck? And do you feel only the neck, or can you sense a little bit more down the spine, this movement? Because your neck is part of your spine, right? So it's one line, it's one item. Neck, spine, okay? So as you turn the head, can you feel how much of your spine do you feel? Do you only feel it in your neck, or do you feel a little bit more down the spine? And of course, the slower you go, the more you can sense that. Very subtle movement. Okay, and then you turn to the left and just notice. Compare the left to the, turn to the left and turn to the right. Just sense the quality of that movement. Is it easier to turn to the left than the right, or vice versa? Okay, we could spend a whole hour here sensing ourselves. This is called a somatic awareness or somatic scan. But we're not going to do that. Okay, so just keep a few mental memory of what you felt, so that at the very end we come back here and see if things may have changed, if things may feel different for you. Okay, so you're going to bend the knees, and that's the way you bend the knees to the side, so we don't want that business going on. This is the way we usually, classic way of bringing the feet up, which causes strain in the lower back and wear and tear, and we don't want that. Okay, so bend to the side, slide the foot up towards the buttocks, and then do I have a video on that? Oh, I do have a video on that. One of the very first videos I did is about this movement of bringing the legs up. So have a look at it. And it should be called something like how to bring the feet up to constructive rest, because this is what is called in yoga and Pilates, constructive rest. Anyway, let's get on with the Feldenkrais awareness through movement lesson or exercise. We call it lessons in Feldenkrais, but it's an exercise in a way. But don't tell any trainer, any Feldenkrais nerd that I say exercise, because they don't like it. It's a lesson. Because we're learning, and we're educating the body, or re-educating the body. Anyway, sometimes it's easier just to use normal language. So it's an exercise. So, as I said before, this is a long exercise, long lesson, so I'm going to bring it in 3 parts. So let's concentrate on your feet. So bring your awareness to your feet. Notice how they rest on the floor. Hip distance apart, legs and feet, knees and feet, wherever it is comfortable for you, and have your knees, your heels more or less below the knees. Okay, so find a position that is comfortable for you, though. You don't want your feet too far away from the buttocks or too close to the buttocks. Okay, it's in the middle, more or less where your heels are below the knees. Okay. Bring your attention to your right foot and notice the contact of the right foot on the floor. Can you feel the whole of the sole of the foot against the floor? Can you feel the toes in contact with the floor? So we're gonna start with the right foot. If you have something going on, start with the other foot that is healthier, okay? And then go do the other foot. Okay, what are you going to do here? You're going to glue the front of your foot on the floor, and you're going to move your heel only, so it's not a big movement. All these movements that we're going to do, it's all in the ankle joint, and well, the knee and the hip joints are involved as well. So it's not a big movement, they are small movements, okay? So don't expect big movements. So all small. Do it. They are small, and we need to do it very slowly. The slower you go, the more the brain can teach the muscles and the body to reorganize. Okay, so that's why in Feldenkrais we don't call it exercise, because exercise is more repetitive movements, and to get a six-pack and things like that. So here we're teaching the nervous system. Okay, so we need to go slow. The slower you go, the better the brain can teach the nervous system. Okay, so you're going to glue the front of your foot and you're going to move the heel to the right. The knee doesn't swing, the knee doesn't go anywhere, the knee stays right in the middle. And because of that, it can only be a small movement. You bring the heel to the right and back to where you started, okay? You either slide it to the right, or you can lift ever so slightly away from the floor for you to be able to move the heel to the side, okay? But you don't want to move it too much. So do what you can to move the heel to the side. When you bring the heel to the side, allow it to land on the floor, okay? And then you bring it back to the middle where you started. Breathing in and out, and do that a few times. You want to spend a minute or so in each movement we do. That's why I need to break this into different videos, otherwise it will be too long. So you're kind of pivoting in the front of the foot in order to move the ankle to the right. Not the ankle, the ankle, you're moving the ankle to the right. Notice how that feels for you, this movement. It's not a very usual movement. None of these movements we're going to do are usual. And when I do that in class, I get people tell me, oh, my thigh muscles are, complaining, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it, okay? But that's all good. You're working muscles that you don't usually do, so they're going to complain. As long as you don't go through pain, that's a different thing. If it's painful, maybe in your ankle, don't just give up. Do it slower and gently, and do less, maybe just a millimeter, a movement of a millimeter. But don't give up, because that won't help very much. Okay, so we're moving the ankle, the heel to the right and back to where you started, okay? And you spend a good minute there. Move it to the right, let it land, and then back to where you started, in the middle, okay? And if your foot starts sliding like mine is, then bring it back. And just notice that movement in your ankle. Notice where you feel it. You may feel it in your calf, in your thigh, maybe you feel it in your knee, maybe you feel it in your hip joint. Okay. After you spend a good minute here, take a moment to rest. You can always, when I say rest, you can always lengthen the legs and rest for a moment with the legs long. I'm not going to do that here because it's going to make this video too long. But you are welcome to do that and pause the video and carry on, okay? Okay, now you're going to do the same but to the left. Okay, so you're going to slide the heel to the left, let it land, and come back. Come back to where you started, okay? And again, you're pivoting in the front of your foot, but the front of the foot is glued, okay? The ball and the toes. Okay, notice how things feel. going to this side, to the left and back to the center. You probably noticed that I've got a little bit of a cold. Alright, and again you spend a good minute here turning the heel to the left and back to the middle, okay? Slow movement, small movement as well. So this is not big movements, these are small movements. Okay, because there's no much range of movement in the ankle. So only go as far as it is comfortable. Just notice, how does it feel? Where do you feel it? Okay, and let go. Notice the difference between one foot and the other. Okay, now we're going to glue the heel and you're going to pivot on the heel to bring the front of the foot to the right, let it land, and then back to where you started. Okay, so now we're doing the same but with the front of the foot. Pivot on the heel and bring it, the front of the foot to the right and back to the center. I do that a few times and spend a good minute here as well, okay? Make sure that when you come to the side with the foot, you land the foot and then you lift and go back to the middle where you started. You lift or you just slide if it's available to you to slide. If it's good for you to slide, then you can slide. Otherwise, you can lift just enough for you to turn the foot. Again, it's not a big movement. Make sure that your knee is quiet, that it's not swinging, okay? Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold, so my nose is a little bit blocked. So I'm finding it difficult to breathe. Excuse me. Okay, and just notice, how does it feel moving the front of the foot? Where do you feel it? You maybe feel it in your thighs. If you start feeling cramps, which is something that people report to me, cramps in your foot or in your thighs, or wherever you feel the cramp, go slower. Okay, don't just give up. Go slower, do less, and see how it goes. Okay? Don't forget to breathe. I'm only breathing through the mouth now because I've got a little bit of a cold. So you probably feel that I'm not breathing very well, which I'm not, because I'm not used to breathe through the mouth. I usually breathe through the nose. That's the way we should breathe anyway, but my nose seems to be blocked now. So you make sure you're breathing in and out. Okay, and then let go. Take a moment to rest. Notice the difference between one foot and the other. And now let's go to the left. You're pivoting in your heel. The heel is glued. And you turn the foot to the left, the front of the foot to the left and back to the center. Okay, so let me tell you my experience here. This is my experience. I'm having a cramp in my arch. I usually get cramps in the foot, in the feet, in the arch. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to just go a little bit slower and less turn, doing a less of a turn, and see if that helps me. So if I go slower and less, then I don't feel that cramp. So I'm going to do that for a few times. Maybe your cramp is in a different place. The same strategy here, okay? This is a strategy that you use if you feel cramp or if you feel pain somewhere. Same strategy. You go slower and less movement, and do less, more gently, okay? And see how it goes. So for me, I can feel that the cramp is gone, okay? So I can go back to my full movement. I don't feel the cramp anymore, okay? So that's the strategy when you come across cramps and pain. You just go slower, you do less. Something else you can do is take a rest and then go back. So never be afraid. Don't take, I know it's easier said than done, but don't allow your pain to stop you from moving. Because the only way we can address pain, musculoskeletal pain, is through movement. Okay? But we can do movement in many different ways. You can do it harshly and strongly, or we can do it slowly and gently and less. So less is more when it comes to these movements. Okay, notice when you turn to the left feels different to when you did to the right. It's very likely that will be a different movement. Don't forget to allow the foot to land when you turn, and when you land, all the toes should contact the floor. If you feel that, say that your big toe is not, it stays in the air, that might be that you're turning too far. Okay. So turn a little bit less so that when you land on the side, you feel every single toe in contact with the floor. Okay, and again, you spend a good minute in each movement. Okay, so now let go. Now let's have a rest with the legs long. Notice one foot and the other, one leg, the hip joint. See where you feel it, where you feel the difference. The contact with the floor, one side and the other. And you can spend here a little bit longer. Let's go. You can pause the video and stay there a little bit longer. Now let's do the left foot, okay? Or before that, just notice the difference between one foot and the other. What difference do you feel? In your toes, the whole of the foot, the sole of the foot, the heel. Okay, so bring your attention to the left foot, glue the front of the foot on the floor, and you're going to pivot in the front of your foot so that you can take the heel just like we did on the other foot. You take it to the right and back to where you started, okay? Same movement. So move the heel to the right, land it, and back to where you started. Notice if this ankle, this foot feels different to the other foot. Again, pay attention if you're getting cramps or pain. Do less, go slower, bring more gentleness into the movement. Something else that you can do as well is, while you're doing these movements, you concentrate on the foot, but now and then bring your awareness to other parts of yourself. I was noticing just now that I was tensioning my pelvis for some reason. We don't know. This is all happens inconsciently. So let go of my pelvis. I don't need to be tensioning my pelvis to do this movement. Okay, so now and then bring your awareness to yourself, to other parts of yourself. Maybe we may be tensioning the jaw, which is very common, so let the jaw be free. Maybe you tension the arms or the hands or the shoulders or the neck. So it's very common and likely that you are tensioning some parts of the body inconsciently. So bring your awareness to the whole of yourself now and then. Just make sure everything is relaxed and that you're not creating unnecessary strain or tension anywhere in the body. We already create unnecessary strain and tension when we are out and about living life because we're not paying attention. So we don't need to do this here. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know below in the comment. Okay, so you slide into the right and land and back to the center slowly and gently. Okay, let it go. Again, spend a good minute there. And then let's do the other side. Let's go to the left and back. And notice, pay attention if your foot is sliding forward, so bring it back in the right position for you to do this movement. So now we're going to take the heel to the left and back to the middle. Same movement, but we're going to the opposite direction. And that movement to the left may feel very different to the right. And you'll be surprised how much work you're doing with this subtle movement. It's a very subtle movement. It's a very small movement we're doing, but you'll be surprised how much you'll feel it in other parts of the body. You're working muscles that they haven't been worked for a long time, and you're going to feel it. In class, when I do this exercise, this movement, or this lesson, people report that their thighs muscles hurt, they feel it in the calves, they feel it there and anywhere. So you're going to feel it. As long as it is not pain, it's all good. And if it's pain, you know the strategy. You know how to get around that. We already been through that. Okay, and let go. So you spend a good minute turning the heel to the right and then to the left. Now let's do the front of the foot. So glue the heel, the left heel, and you're going to pivot in your heel and you're going to turn the front of the foot to the right and back to the center. Okay? Remember, when you turn, let it land. Every single toe should land and be in contact with the floor, and then back to the middle where you started. Okay? Only lift as much as it is necessary to pivot. Okay, you can just slide if that is available. Oh, again, I was feeling, I don't know why, but today I'm tensioning the pelvis. Unconsciously for some reason, so I need to bring my awareness back there and just let go. Okay, let go. Now let's turn the pivot to the left. And notice the differences. Remember that your knee is quiet, is not swinging. The movement is only in the ankle. Okay? Remember to land the foot when it comes to the middle and then when it goes to the side. Breathing in and out through the nose. You probably notice that I'm not breathing through the nose, or maybe you don't. I'm only breathing through the mouth because my nose, excuse me, it's blocked. And it's a bit challenging for me to breathe through the mouth because that's not how I usually breathe. Okay, let go. Lazy your legs. I just notice yourself in contact to the floor. We're going to finish this here. I'll bring the other parts, the second video next week, and then the other one. Excuse me. It doesn't help to lie flat on the floor with a blocked nose. So spend the moment here now, lie on the floor, just go back to your mental memories at the beginning of this video, this exercise, and notice what feels different in your body as you contact the floor. Turn your head just like you did in the very beginning, to the left and to the right. Notice if you feel a difference. Yes, we didn't work in the neck, but this movement in the feet, in the ankles, will affect the whole of the body. So notice if this movement in your neck feels different. The quality of the movement in the neck feels different. Okay, and just notice how does it feel to lie on the floor now compared to the beginning of the class. And what feels different now as you lie on the floor. So spend a moment here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stand up. I'm not going to do it here just to make this video short, not so long. You're going to stand up and go through the same somatic experience we did at the very beginning. Notice your feet on the floor, bring your awareness to the feet, and notice what feels different from the beginning of the class. Okay, so I'll bring the other parts next week, and other parts next week. So just to go through the movements, what we did was we glued the front of the foot and we moved the heel to the right. Okay, and then we moved it to the left. So you spend a good minute in this side, and then we glued the heel and we did this movement to the right and then to the left. Okay, notice the differences going to one side and the other. and then we did that with both feet. If you got the time, go back and do again this movement. Otherwise, just do the video number 2 that I'll bring to you, or it might be there already, depending when you're watching this. Thank you very much. Please leave me a comment below. Tell me what's going on, how do you think, what you felt, you didn't feel, if you have questions, suggestions, criticism, positive criticism, constructive criticism. Inspire other people in the community with your experience with these Feldenkrais exercises. And it's good to be in contact. Okay, give me the thumbs up if you liked, and share it with your friends and family. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another part of this series for the ankles and the knees. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.